for the spring. How's everyone doing this Tuesday? I have some old bee boxes and we're getting them ready for some new bees that are going to be delivered this spring. So I thought I would go live for a few minutes and share. Right now I'm painting pink. I'll try to keep an eye on the comment roll, but I'm pretty busy. We're on a time crunch. We need to submit the application for the 1D1 ag exemption in our county by April 1st. So I'm painting just because before the bees move in, the new bees, we already have several hives that are active, but we need some new bees for the application. Before we take delivery, we're gonna go pick them up nearby at a special bee farm. I just wanna, you can't paint the boxes after the bees have already moved in. So I'm painting them today. And I always wanted to make pretty colors that kind of look like the flowers. I'm going to turn the camera around. I've always wanted to make my bee boxes look like a flower garden. A lot of times I like to go on Pinterest and they'll show different ideas. You know, you can paint flowers and leaves and make it look just like a meadow, but we pretty much have a meadow out there. So as soon as someone tunes in, please let me know if the reception is working, because we don't have Wi-Fi out here where the bees are. I just have cell service with T-Mobile and I have no idea. How's the reception? There's one bee box. Can you leave a like if the reception's okay? There's 12 people on here now, but what I was just saying is we don't have Wi-Fi out here where we're painting the bee boxes. So it's kind of, I'm not sure. I just started the live, so I don't know how good it is. Yeah, so what I was saying is we're getting ready for some new bees in our apiary for the spring, and I had these boxes that really needed some help. A lot of the frames have fallen apart. There's the smoker. Here's my suit. Here's my little sign just for decoration. As soon as we harvest some, I'll maybe give it away. I'm not going to sell it. I have plenty of friends that want some honey. And here's my gloves. Yeah, so I got these things from Mountain Sweet Honey Supply from Georgia. And one from my local bee supplier where we're going to be picking up the bees for these boxes. If the reception is okay, can you just leave a like? I don't have any comments, probably because there's no Wi-Fi. And probably not that great of a feed. I apologize. I should have brought the Starlink Mini with me. I'll have to do that next time. I also wanted to show you the paints because I might make a separate video about this with a link. These paints are outdoor acrylic and they came in all these cute colors for the bees. I'm a professional muralist, so I don't really need the color wheel, but for beginners, it comes with the color wheel so you can mix These are really high quality paints, by the way. So that's what I wanted to mention. There's the basic colors too. You've got your black and white with all these bright pastels, and then you have your red, blue, and in the art world we would call that umber, but it's brown, and then your burnt sienna and umber. Those are some basic colors you need for a good painting. And it came with this little palette knife because the paint's quite thick, which is excellent. And you could actually do an acrylic palette knife painting if you're an artist. And here's a little sponge for just tweaking, kind of like Bob Ross, you know. Happy little frogs and mushrooms. But today we're having happy little bee boxes. So these old boxes got weathered. We've had them for about 8 years, so it's time to paint. Yes, bee boxes. Hey, Legacy Gaming 9, how's the feed? Is it really bad because I have no Wi-Fi? Is it bad? I'm just working off of cellular T-Mobile service right now. So here's what the racks look like after several years. Well, these actually had some, oh, this was a queen. This is a queen cage. So the queen would be inside there, and she's marked with a dot, like a white or sometimes a colored red dot. And then they plug this with a little cork with, oh, it's good. It's not bad. Hi, Kaylee Naska. Thanks for joining. Yeah, this is the queen cage, and she eats, it's like a sugar plug. She'll eat through it, and then she'll, in like a day or two, she'll join the rest of the hive. So you get the bees in a box full of bees with her, and she'll go in between two racks, and then you just kind of like dump the bees in, and kind of like use your smoker to kind of confuse them. They'll stay near the queen because they'll smell her pheromones, and they start building. There's some old honeycomb. It's really old though. It's not good anymore. I don't know if that tastes like honey or not, and I'm not going to try it. So the bees will actually, this much, they'll probably clean themselves, but I'm going to brush them off and make sure they're good and fresh for the new bees so that they don't swarm and run away. Okay, so I'm going to continue painting this one. I've still got some pink paint mixed up over here. Those colors that came with the kit are kind of bright. I wanted them to be pretty light mixed with some white because the summers, it's already hot here in Texas. Like, I had to go change into a t-shirt and get my sunscreen on and my hat and everything. Hi. So I'm just painting away, just like the good old days. Hi, Legacy Gaming 9. Yes, we're getting new bees. We need extra bees because we're filling out our 1D1 agriculture exemption application. And this property, the way it works in Texas is the first 5 acres, you need 6 hives. And then for each additional 2.5 acres, you need 1 more. So we need a total of 9. because this is around 15 acres. And these were just some old boxes we had at another property in Bastrop, Texas. They needed to be repainted anyway, so I decided to, instead of buying all new boxes for the newbies, I'm just gonna paint these with acrylic and some kills. Once it dries, it's really safe for the bees. Yeah, so anyway, by keeping the colors light, mixing that pink, which is pretty bright, like a Pepto-Bismol pink, with some kills, I'm kind of killing two birds with one stone since I am on a time crunch. Our new hives are down at the bottom, so those need to be painted also before I put them out. And that company, in case you ever are interested in bees, these are some really high quality boxes that we got. You do have to assemble them. And these were better than the first ones. These older ones that I'm painting were not as good a quality as these that just came in that we're still assembling. They come with all the pieces. You just have to put the racks together. It even has the nails. And then once the bees come, we have to feed them sugar water until they get established, until all the flowers start growing. Okay, so I need to keep painting. Thanks for joining. Yes, pets. Hi, Legacy Gaming 9. We have an alpaca, 3 llamas, 2 donkeys, 4 cats, 1 German Shepherd, and 9 hives of bees. Bees are animals too. That's what they say. It's fun. In Texas, as long as they stay alive and pollinate, it's an ag exemption on your property to lower your taxes. One day, who knows, maybe we'll have hundreds of bees and start a business, but for now it's for pollinating. Yeah, we have a lot of animals. So they're probably missing me right now because I'm over here doing this. So we are in Texas. Howdy, Legacy Gaming and Kaylee. Thank y'all for being my #1 fans. I was using these, but they didn't work too good. So this is the lid. So this little hole up here is like a handle, but it's just the only spot. So underneath you've got your racks. Here's some wax that they built. These ones need a little help too. They didn't get used very much. There's all kinds of bugs though, since they've been laying out in the grass for years. After the bees left these boxes, other bugs like dirt daubers and even wasps will move in, and out there in Bastrop, Texas, there's actually scorpions. And scorpions love old rotting wood and dark places. Hopefully, we moved these over, I don't know, 2 months ago. I don't know what that is. Okay, that's weird. We moved these 2 months ago, so hopefully any critters that were inside have left. See, I don't know what that is. I don't think this is bee related. Some other sort of bug. So these need to be cleaned. I wouldn't want the new bees to get any sort of sickness. I'll probably replace. You can buy replacements for these black pieces. And they actually come with a little bit of the, ooh, I don't know what that is. That probably goes to a spider. Okay, I'm done. I'm done checking that one out because that was weird. I'm arachnophobe, so I stop at spiders. I could even handle a scorpion, but I'm a total arachnophobe. These are okay because you've got your suit. The suit has a double layer of protection. So you've got your netting on the outside, little fine netting, and then on the inside there's another. It's actually 2 layers, and in between the 2 layers of netting you have bigger netting for like the queen, because she's a bigger bee. If she were to try to get in your suit, which is not going to happen because she's inside the hive working hard, laying eggs. And here's the smoker. So you put you bundle up some pine needles and leaves and whatever you have, maybe some paper, as long as it's nothing toxic, obviously, just organic matter. And light that up with the match, and then you just give it some puffs and puffs and puffs and puffs until it starts going on its own, and then you're good. Like, you just want to squeeze it every now and then when you're out there into the hive. What the smoke does is it confuses the bees, so they kind of stay docile and they kind of stay landed inside the hive while you check what you need to check. And then, so while you're working with your bees, you've got your suit, you've got these gloves, which also go past the suit, with this tight elastic and everything. It's so hot in the summertime in Texas, by the way. These are cotton, though, like a canvas material. So you've got all that protective gear. And so this is your hat, and it zips up. You've got a net there too. You've got your smoke. Do what you need to do and get out. That's my philosophy. Yeah, usually it's just checking to make sure that they're humming away and they're happy and building their honeycomb onto the racks and all that. Okay, so I'm just going to keep painting. This is the entrance reducer. So down at the bottom, I have one that's on a bottom. So it has a top, it has the lid that I showed you a minute ago with the handle in it on top of the racks inside the main box. And then here's the bottom. So the bottom piece of the whole bee box and this thing goes between the big box, the taller box here, and the super. So you put that on there because the queen is in the big box laying eggs, and you don't want the queen to get into the super. The super is the smaller, more narrow box that goes on top when they start making extra honey. Then you so you've got your bottom. This is a bottom with your entrance reducer. If they're coming in and out at high volume, you can make the entrance the long one, like that, so lots of bees can go in and out. But if you want to reduce it, especially when they're new and they're learning where their home is, this is the smaller opening where the bees come in and out. So you have a choice. If you don't have the reducer in there, there's too big of a gap, and like pests like wasps and hornets, snakes, even a raccoon could get in there, you know, so you want to keep that entrance reducer in place. Then you put the big box with the queen, forget what that's called. That's called something. So that keeps the queen from coming out of the main part. Then you put the super. I need to paint this one. This is a super because it's only like 6.5 inches. That's a super. That's a regular box, and that's the super. Then you put the lid on top of the super, and it'll have racks inside. So you'll put the lid and then the cover. So the main cover is the one that comes with a metal top. Here's a brand new one. So in Texas, you can paint those with like any paint really. I mean, Kills is good because it adheres to most surfaces. They make special Rust-Oleum paint that's non-toxic that goes on metal and sticks in the rain and everything. And it's also a good idea to put them near a water source like a pond and in some shade also, especially in Texas. And you've heard of beeline. Hi. We've got La Casa Lopez, C8U. Hi. Thanks for joining. We're talking about bees. I'm really just trying to paint, but I started giving a bee lesson. Hi. My name's Wendy. And we have llamas, so I'm Llama Mama. We also have bees, so we're talking about bees right now. Thanks for joining. I'm gonna turn it around. Okay, so I'm just gonna start painting some more. Brooklyn. Hi, Brooklyn. Oh yeah, I was going to go ahead and just paint this bottom. I'm not gonna paint the inside. This is the inside of the bottom. I'm gonna leave it alone. It's the outside that's probably needs to be redone there. It's a lot of work, but you only have to do this every few years. When you're getting new bees, or every few years, or if you happen to, you know, if you were to get a deal on some used bee boxes, because they're not cheap. Each one of these kits, the new one, see the new regular box, okay, the bottom with the new reducer, it's brand new reducer here. So you've got your bottom, your reducer, your main box, your queen excluder, your super, your lid, your top, whatever, and then the new lid, top. That's the lid, that's the top. So this set is like, each one of these, we got them on Amazon, they were like $115. So that's why if you were to find some that were used that you could just fix up like we're doing today, you saved a lot of money, right? Or this is Kills. So Kills is going to kill that algae right there, that green algae. Since this is the bottom, it was closest to the ground in the rain, and it grew some algae. I'm going to give it an extra. So I used to paint murals in children's rooms back in the 2000s, starting in 1999 actually. I love working with these colors. And when I'm done getting them set up so that I can submit my application to the county, get the bees in there, well, before I get the bees, the new bees, I might paint a few flowers, maybe a tree. It's going to look so pretty. It's going to look like a little garden. Uh-oh, bad reception. Darn. Darn. Thanks for letting me know. I'm on T-Mobile. I don't have Wi-Fi out here where I'm working with the bees. I'm sorry. So it might get worse. It might get better. Who knows? But I've got to get this done. I wanted to share. Need to go mow. I need to mow the spot. I need to put weed mat down so that the weeds don't grow all around them, and then they grow more algae, and then I have to repaint them again, because once they have bees, I'm not going to be painting. The cool thing about these, though, you can be sloppy. This is nothing like a person's bedroom like I used to paint. You had to be very neat with a drop cloth. Don't get paint anywhere but the wall. And I got my paints on Amazon, so pretty cheap, a lot cheaper than going to the art store like Hobby Lobby or Michael's or Jerry's Artorama. That's another place where I get my art supplies. I really just needed durable acrylics, nothing toxic for the bees. When you work with paint that is toxic, even oil-based, which is not necessarily toxic, but it's just really hard to work with, and it stinks and it gives you a headache. I love acrylics. I'm gonna go ahead and let's fill in these cracks with paint. So, who do we have? Hello, Sajid Ali 25. Yeah, hi Paul. Mazzola 6148. Yes. So this is called the queen excluder. Okay, because so the regular drones and the worker bees and everything, they can fit through these, but the queen is too big. She can't fit through that. When you first get the bees, the queen is in here, and she has a sugar cube in there that it takes her 3 or 4 days to eat through it, but once she eats through it, she starts laying eggs, but she's supposed to stay down here in the big one, and then you put this is called the queen excluder, because she can't go out or out of the super or anything. She stays in the main hive. Yes, she's very important. I think we have some AI comments. Some comments don't make sense, but that's okay. All right, where was I? I'm using way too much paint here, but that's okay. I wanted to fill in this crevice because, wasps like to get into the hive and steal the honey, and then they actually kill the little bees that are just working so hard, and then they just move right in and they make themselves at home, and before you know it, they've killed the queen and they've stolen the house. So sad, but it does happen. And that's one reason why you want to check on them regularly, even if you're not selling the honey. They're called predators or hive bandits. And keep your hives where you can see them. Sometimes when you're driving around the country, you'll see these boxes out in a field, and they're visible and they're out in the open so that the beekeepers and the county and everybody, the neighbors, can just see that an animal, like a pack of raccoons hasn't come by, or bears, if you live somewhere where they have bears, because bears love honey. I would think it would be very hard. I would think it would be very hard to have bees where you have bears. Paul says, my mother's son was a beekeeper, and he used to do that a lot. I even sent my class to my uncle, and we had a class on bees, and he had a real beehive. He had the honeycomb. It was really good. Yeah, that part is good. Bye, Sajid. Thanks for joining. I've got paint falling off now because I put so much in there. So hopefully that means that little spot, no hive thieves can get in. I think that one's filled up pretty good. Okay, so there's one bottom, two tops, a super, a main hive. The lid is covered by the top, so it doesn't necessarily need a coat of paint. It stays in pretty good condition. I'm doing 2 coats. Hi, Telma 1115. I'm gonna do a coat of the primer, all-purpose, interior, exterior, multi-surface, sealer and stain locker. I'm going to do a coat of that, and then I'm going to paint each one a pretty pastel color. Just putting as much paint as I've got to work with. I've got a lot. I have half a quart here. Got like 17-ounce bottle of white acrylic to mix with. I've got several different pastel colors, so I'm excited. This is fun. I'll probably be doing this tomorrow too. Maybe even the next day. Today's Tuesday. I might still be working on this Friday. I will not be over there with my cows and my llamas because that's at a different location in Texas. We are farmers and ranchers. And when you have all that going on with ponds and acreage, you might as well add bees because they're so beneficial and fun to work with, I think. Okay. Paul says, do you know that drones like to dance with the queen so they'll find their way out of the beehive? Wow. It's so fun to watch all the different videos and education about bees. They are amazing. All colonies of insects are pretty amazing if you can get like the camera in there, and make a video and have somebody narrating that really knows what they're talking about. I know about the boxes and keeping bees and a little bit about the bees' behavior themselves, but I don't get in the box with my camera and do documentaries. So. All right, well, I need to move this one. Needs paint really, really bad. Okay, so that bottom is done. So move some things around. Gonna probably start with a different color. I'm gonna add some purple to that pink and make like a pretty pastel lilac color for the next one. Okay, so here's another lid that is in great condition. I think I'm gonna have to purchase some new racks. Oh wow, this has some wasp. I hope that's old. It better be old. Just kidding. Ha ha. I hope nothing comes flying out of there. How's the reception? Ooh, oh, that's just a regular wasp. Oopsie. Okay. Oh, look. They look like little aliens. A bunch of little alien faces. So this would be an example of a thief, a bandit, a predator, a pest that got inside the beehive. Some sort of wasp or hornet. And they built one on the other side too. This is regular wasp. But they never made it up to the super, so this super looks like the bees. Ooh, there's dirt daubers. Okay, so the dirt daubers decided to build right in the center. Yeah, it's important to make sure that your racks are all in good working order. Because bees are pretty selective. They'll be like, oh, don't like that, don't like that, don't like that. And they may not even move in. Okay, that one needs to be nailed back together. This one, okay, spider, some sort of spider action. Oh, look down there. Let me move out of the way. See that spider comb web? Ugh. Okay, that's where I get spooked, but it doesn't look like it's alive. Paul, bees put a sleeping spray that doesn't hurt them, but they make them sleepy so you can open up the honey and won't be able to sting yourself. I think that's what they do. Yes, and also smoke. That's what the smoker actually confuses them. It gets on their tentacles and they can't smell the pheromone. They get confused and they stay put. Okay, so this rack here, one section, one little part of it right there needs to be nailed back together. But other than that, this super is in really good shape. Okay, well, I'm going to be doing this tomorrow too. Thanks for watching. Bye.